pretty quickly because of losing all those Vikings, losing the air game, and now falling behind in the ground game, losing the large advantage that he did have, because now STC has caught up in tech and does have these stimmable Marauders, which can just be a pain if Ensnare is not in a good position with these tanks. And now 2 tanks coming in, oh man, it looks like his control there was a little bit wonky. Didn't actually get to do anything with those tanks before Ensnare was able to siege up. So now we're just going to have a little standoff here between STC and Ensnare. It looks like STC still just has a ton of Vikings. Ensnare has not been investing in more Vikings, so he's just giving up on the air game, going to try and crank out as many ground units as he can. He is actually building a couple Vikings now, but he is still way behind. There's 7 here flying around for STC, and Ensnare really only has tanks and Marauders to try and repel this. Not sure what's going to be going on. And looking at the minimap, we see 4 Marauders loaded up in a medevac, but we also see a fight about to happen here. I don't know what's going to happen. The medevac actually gets spotted by a turret. And don't lose that medevac. You're going to need that for sure. Drops 4 Marauders there in the base and engages in the front. So looks like STC is going to retreat to deal with these Marauders that haven't even moved yet. Finally, they stem and start running around. Vikings doing some spotting. Marauders are going to be able to take out at least 1 supply depot. They need to focus a little bit more if they're going to do enough damage here. 2 supply depots down, 3 supply depots maybe. Yep, 3 down. This medevac is going to get owned by these Vikings, so these Marauders are just forfeit. Looking at the minimap, making sure nothing else is going on. Yeah, so those Marauders killed a few supply depots and an SCV. Like, not really the best situation. Ensnare was probably hoping for a little bit more damage, but he wasn't able to do anything on the ground over here either. Looks like he's just bought himself some time to get some more Vikings out on the field. If you look at the production tab, Ensnare is just building things like crazy, and STC seems to have slowed down, even though his economy is a little bit better. Not sure what happened over here. Why did he abandon this high yield mineral? Now I have to check. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just quickly go through a couple of different positions. He abandoned it, well, a long time ago. But why? Why did you abandon it? Someone tell me. Speeding up. Okay, so no real reason. Alright, I guess I didn't miss anything. Sorry. Going back to present time. Those Marauders are still alive. Speed up a little bit. That was highly confusing. I have no idea why he lifted off that high yield and floated it over here. It doesn't even look like Ensnare even did anything to try and stop it. He dropped a couple of Marauders back here, but there's not even a base here. Wow, some things I can't even explain because they make no sense. But what is going on up here? Oh, another little drop from STC. Just a few Marauders. That medevac, their transport gets taken out really quickly, but they are able to take out quite a few SCVs here before these tanks are able to mop them up. So STC doing a little bit of distraction in Ensnare's base while he moves his Vikings and tanks around to the side. It looks like Ensnare does want to try and take his own high yield, but is not going to be able to do that. STC finds it much too quickly, and he's forced to float and run away. These Vikings could actually get a bunch of free shots there, but Ensnare is choosing now as the time to attack with his many Marauders and his several tanks. And it looks like STC is actually spread kind of thin back here. I'm not sure why. Looks like his forces are just kind of all over the place. He actually did float that high yield over to that bottom position. But Ensnare has all his units as a cohesive force right now, and STC keeps bringing in like 1 tank at a time to try and stop it. He is rapidly losing his forces here because of these stimmable Marauders doing extra damage to the tank and keeping his Ensnare's own tanks at a reasonable distance. So I really like Ensnare's chances here of doing some real damage. In addition to killing that natural, now he doesn't really have a ton of opposition. The Vikings of STC did land and all got taken out, and STC actually calls GG here. That was, I don't know, strange GG timing. He has a couple of tanks over here. He's got, looks like these 2 Marauders that were just chilling over here. Just start wailing on this command center. I really don't understand what STC was doing, lifting up that high yield, because we went back and looked and there was no real threat. He just moved it over to this random spot, and like Ensnare had less bases going. it looked like he could have held that. There were only 3 Marauders even left alive. Well, a couple of tanks here, actually, a couple of Vikings. So these guys are just all over the map, and it just looked like STC had enough of it. The couple of drops actually were pretty effective, killed off a few supply depots here and there, a few SCVs here and there. So Ensnare actually did do pretty decently overall with his drops, and then eventually did that crawl over here and killed off this expansion. That must have been the nail in the coffin for STC to call GG like that. But very bizarre TVT. A couple of strange things happened. Ensnare did steal a win, I think, there from STC. I don't think STC should have GG'd quite yet. But there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be doing some more casts in the very near future.